got it on my phone right now.
Okay, we're live. So welcome everybody to Longbourn Literary Society's Society Papers broadcast, episode number 60. I'm Zoe Burton and I'm here with Leenie Brown. And today we're going to talk about our best reviews. Rose is on the road to a memorial service, or she would be here with us. So she's in our thoughts though. Oh, I forgot to turn it down. Sorry. I did that last night too. Oops. Anyhow, I'm taking over Rose's thing with a quote. I actually have two quotes because I couldn't choose one, and I got a little bit of an attitude. So, and then Lenie's, no, do you want to share our pin post, or do you want me to do that?
Well, if you're over there, you might as well do it.
That's true. Yeah, because I'm going to be in the same place. Right. Okay, and then we're going to share our news, and then we are going to then we're going to talk about our topic. So let me go over here to screen share. Application window, Google Hangouts. That's not what I want. Why can I not find? Oh, Zoe. Longbourn Literary Society. Sorry, folks. Hangouts. It's sharing my screen. What are we seeing? We are not seeing what I want it to see.
No.
Stop sharing.
No, it was sharing. It just takes a while to get there.
Okay. Well, let me try again then.
Yeah.
Now I can see Longbourn Literary Society. See, you know what? Here's the problem. They have cancel in blue on the right, and they have share in white on the left. And I always end up clicking the wrong one. No matter what I want to do, I've clicked the wrong one. Okay, so it's an up, but it's not shown for you guys yet. So there it goes. Okay, here is our quote. We have two of them. Sorry, now I'm getting. Can I do this? Can I go over here to this and click this? The first one is a nice one. It's the pink one. And it says, reminder, you can't please everyone, so do it for yourself. And that's, oh, Kimberly's here. Hi, Kimberly. And that is kind of what keeps me going, even after a review that maybe wasn't necessarily bad, but not so nice, is that I can't please everybody. So, and this is the snarky one, the next one. You will never be criticized by someone doing more than you. You will be criticized by somebody doing less. So I try to remember when people are because bad reviews are hurtful. And even sometimes good reviews can kind of be like off the cuff, like a backhanded compliment. And those can be hurtful too. So they're not doing more than me. They're doing less. So that's kind of a little bit snarky thing, but that's me. And then I'm going to scroll down here to this beautiful picture that Leenie made. She's got such an eye, and she is so good at this, that we just have to share this picture stare at it for a minute because it's gorgeous. But this is our special thing. And our comments. Krista commented, and I think that's all. Krista and Isabel, they had kind of a conversation about tea. Oh, I can answer this. Formal high tea. I did high tea in Pittsburgh twice. And it was tea and little sandwiches and stuff. I'm going to stop sharing because nobody had any sales or anything they were sharing. It was, you got to choose your tea, and there was a little pot of tea, and you got your cup and stuff. And there's like a 3-tiered thing, serving dish. And on one, like the bottom tier, there's little sandwiches with different, and then the second one was, I don't even remember what was on the second one, maybe fruit, little piece of fruit and stuff. And the top was like maybe macarons or some kind of cookies, and that was your tea. And you wouldn't think, you look at it and you think I'm going to have to eat again after this, but no, because, and you get a little metal strainer for the tea, because so that it doesn't, you hold it over your cup and you pour the tea in out of the teapot into your cup, and it gets a little loose because it's loose leaf tea. And you'd think that you'd be hungry, but no, by the time you get to that top tier, you are full. So I've been to, there's in 2 places in Pittsburgh. One was downtown, and I want to say it was the William Penn something hotel. And we did that last Christmas. And a couple years ago, we went to another one. Me and my friend Angela went to another one somewhere else in Pittsburgh. I want to say Squirrel Hill, but maybe not. It was somewhere in Pittsburgh though. And that's what a tea is, a high tea, basically. And it was research. And I go back periodically for more research. And there's a tea room that opened in Cleveland that I'd like to go to. And I'm hoping Angela and I can run up there one day. But we need more research, just like I need more research at racetracks, okay? Because there's aspects that you don't pay attention to. So then, of course, it's not quite like a Regency high tea where all the ladies are gathered and she pours the hot water in the pot to warm it up and dumps it out, and then, does the tea and all that, because that wouldn't work in a situation like going to a restaurant or a, hotel and having a high tea. So it's a little bit different, but you get the gist of how it goes. And not even everybody isn't even all dressed up, though I generally have been dressed decent. I've not worn a tank top. Yeah, I usually have. Of course, both times it was like in November, December. So anyway, all right. So I have shared a couple quotes, and I've shared what was in the pin self promo post and yacked a lot about it. So do you want me to share my news first, or do you want to share yours? Okay, here's my news. There's really not a huge amount of news. We'll start with the least important thing. Well, I don't know if it's least important, but my blog, this is like, 3 weeks in a row. I've had a blog post every day, every week, Monday through Friday. Woohoo, go me. Mr. Darcy, My Hero is out of Kindle Unlimited. It came out, I want to say Tuesday was the last day. So it's been out for a couple days now. It's going to be going wide soon. I have to fix the EPUB. I tried to make an EPUB, and it's got a bookmark in it. Well, 3 bookmarks in it that really, I don't know what the heck, where they came from, because I didn't put them in there. I don't remember putting them in there. So I have to fix that. I may have put them in there and just don't remember. But anyway, I have to fix the EPUB, and then I'm going to put it on my Gumroad store, and I'm going to upload it wide. And this light is not doing a darn bit of good. I'm dark on one side. Sorry, folks. I am writing, and I'm writing very slowly, but I am writing because I have 2 good months of royalties. I'm really rather excited about that, but I have to crack down because that's not going to last. So I need to get busy, because I know I can finish this book. I know I can write a book and get it out and have one out for next month. But I am writing slowly. I've probably taking a page out of Lenie's book, and the main conflict is probably going to be Darcy changing Mrs. Bennett's opinion of him. I'm not really sure. I might, sometime this weekend, nag at her till she helps me figure out how.
Note to self, run away. No.
But the first bit of it, and what I end up doing, because Gabby Cat gave me that bunny, and I put it away because I couldn't figure out what to do with it. And it occurred to me, because I pray over this stuff all the time. I mean, if I didn't, I wouldn't get any writing done if I didn't pray about it first. But I couldn't find something that appealed to me that really kind of went, ooh, write it. So I said, you know what, let me take this bunny again and just write the scene that she gave me and see where it goes. And so that's what I did. And the first probably 500 words is on the blog. this past Thursday, and I didn't link that in the show notes. Oops. But you know, the first 500 words is on there, and I've come to the conclusion at this point, because now it's summer and now I've got like mowing and I've got weed whacking, I've got all this other stuff, and it's spring and I want to spring clean, and so I've been doing web posts first and then writing, but then I'm so tired by that time I start writing, that I don't want to write, and it's a problem. So what I'm going to do is, when I get up here in my office, I'm going to do the writing on the story first, and I'm going to go back to sprinting 20 minutes and then 10 minutes off, and 20 minutes and 10 minutes off for 2 or 3 hours, maybe 4 a day. And then I can do the rest. I am still practicing, by the way. I don't know what happened to my recorder. It's around here somewhere. Practicing Dragon. I didn't put that in my updates, but I'm practicing Dragon like almost like 4 days a week, 5 days a week. And that's my updates. That's all I did. Kimberly went to high tea at Harrods last year at a hotel in New York. Yes, that would be cool too. It was expensive at the William Penn. I don't remember how much I paid at the first place. It was like $50, $30. I think I paid 60 because I didn't bring cash. So I picked up Angela's, and Angela paid me. And I think I put $60 on my debit card. But it was so worth it. And the server she was fantastic. It was a colored lady, and I'm telling you, she was fantastic. She knew her stuff, and she read all this stuff off, and she talked to us. It was great. It was great. So, all right, I'm done talking.
Okay, so it's my turn then. I have never been to a high tea, and if I went, it wouldn't really do me any good anyway, because unless it was gluten-free, sugar-free, caffeine-free, all of that, then I might be okay.
Right.
Yeah, Kimberly said it was expensive too. So.
Yes.
All right, my news. I'm going to pull up my reading from a screen behind you guys.
Okay.
Because I want to try to remember everything. I have quite a few things that have been going on. Like, it feels like it's been a month since last Saturday, just because there's been so many things that I've been trying to get done. First thing is, there was yesterday, it was only yesterday, I keep thinking it was a week ago already, but it's not, it's only yesterday. I had a Friday feature post on my blog about a sale that is going on from now until May 27th. This weekend is Victoria Day weekend in Canada, and it's the beginning of cottage season. And I know that next weekend is Memorial Day weekend in the US, which is kind of like the unofficial beginning of summer, and people, going off camping and all of that sort of thing. So it's my cottage season sale. And I have 5 different books, except that 3 of those are bundles. So it's really, if you count it all up, there are 15 books that are included in this sale. The first 2 are 25% off, and that is One Winter's Eve and 2 Days Before Christmas. And those 2 books are the first 2 books in the Darcy's Family Holidays series. I have a book that'll be coming out, book number 3 for that series, that'll be coming out soon. So reading, especially reading 2 Days Before Christmas, would be helpful if you haven't already read that, because some of the things that happen in that story are referenced or referred to in A Scandal in Springtime. Also, because A Scandal in Springtime is coming out soon, I've put the first box set, Other Pens Mansfield Park box set number 1, on sale for the same price that you could, well, for less actually, than it would cost to buy one of the books in that bundle if you're buying them individually. And that bundle is also in KU, so you could read it there if you're a KU member. But that would be really good to also read before A Scandal in Springtime comes out, because Charles, who is in the second book, and he plays secondary character in A Scandal, and then Trevor Linton is a secondary character in both books 1 and 2 of the Mansfield Park series, and he becomes the hero in this one. So if you want to know who he is and how he relates to Henry Crawford and Charles Edwards, who are also in the book, and that it would be advisable to read that if you haven't done that already, and they're really good too.
They are. They're excellent.
You do not have to like Mansfield Park or Henry Crawford or anything in order to like them, because they happen after Mansfield Park is over with, and Henry is changed. Like, I don't like Henry in Mansfield Park. I mean, I really, really don't like him. But I like him in the book that I wrote. Actually came to like him because he does change quite nicely. Okay, and then I have Darcy and a Pride and Prejudice variation collection that has 5 books in it that is currently in Kindle Unlimited, that is only going to be in Kindle Unlimited until June 11th, and then it will come out of there, and it will not be back in there this year. Maybe it'll be back there next year, but if you haven't read it, now's the time to read it on your Kindle Unlimited subscription, or to download it, and you can read it a little bit later. I mean, it's 5 books, 1 download, so you're not filling up your whole library and then you can't get any other books if you don't have time to read it right now. And that one's going to be leaving, so I thought I would highlight, since it's new that I'm starting to rotate things through Kindle Unlimited, I figured I'd highlight that by putting it on sale. The one that is going to be going into Kindle Unlimited, hopefully by June 1st. It will be in there, and it'll be in there for 3 months. So June, July, and August, the whole summer, is A Dash of Darcy and Companions Cottage Collection box set 1. And that has 5 novellas in it, starting with Finally Mrs. Darcy. And I think the last one is Not an Heiress. So it's the first 5 books in that collection of novellas. And that will be going into Kindle Unlimited. So it is on sale right now, so that those who would like to pick it up on Kobo or iBooks or some other vendor besides Amazon can do that before it has to be taken off of those places to be put into Kindle Unlimited. So those are the 5 books that are on sale. I also had a book release this week. His Darling Friend is now available in the Kindle store and is part of Kindle Unlimited, so it is only in the Kindle store. That was my last sweet, well, my first Sweet Tuesdays story on my blog, which is a new thing that I've started this year. So it was there for people to read, and now I had to take it down because it's gone into Kindle Unlimited, and they're very militant about cannot be anywhere else. So it's doing all right too. I mean, it's not bringing in hordes of money or anything like that, but it has outsold the first book in the series already. The first 30 days of the first book in the series was less than a week of this book in the series. So, that's a really good improvement. So I'm pleased with that. It still needs to earn a bit more before it'll actually pay off what I've put into it, and then I can start making a few cents on it.
Yes.
It's not a fast seller right now, but it's a new series. It's new. It's different than things that I've done before, so it's going to take a while. So I'm just, patiently waiting, and it's steadily getting reads and steadily getting sales. So I almost prefer that to, the big, oh, look, it's number 1 today, and then it's, in the hundreds tomorrow, where you get a lot of sales all at once and then they just drop off. So I like that steady, because I don't know, it's just reassuring, I guess.
It is. I like the same thing.
Yeah. And then I started 2 new stories this week. I need to start a 3rd one, but that was too much for 1 week. Maybe this week I'll get a 3rd one started, but I don't know if it's going to happen. So I started the new Sweet Tuesdays story that'll be after the one that's there now. So this is going to be book 3 in the Touches of Austen collection, and it'll follow his darling friend. And it is about Grace Love, who, if you've read His Darling Friend, she was a fairly important secondary character in that one. She was also an important secondary character in the first book in the series, His Beautiful Bee. So if you've read those books, you already know her somewhat, but now it's her turn to have the spotlight. And this one, the first book in the series, kind of has nods to Mansfield Park. The second one has nods to Emma. And the third one is not necessarily going to nod to a book, but will have hints of Austen characters in it, like Felicity, not Bee's sister, Grace's sister.
Yeah.
Yeah, is kind of like a Julia Bertram. She's kind of out, not Julia, Mariah. She's out for herself type of girl, even at the expense of her sister, which you can see that happening in a few places in Mansfield Park. And then you've got Bee, who's maybe a little bit like Julia, but maybe more, I would say, like Harriet Smith in Emma, where not necessarily the brightest bulb in the string, but sweet girl. And maybe a little bit like Catherine Morland, because the type of story that I'm
Bee
planning.
or Grace?
Grace. Sorry, I keep saying the wrong one. Catherine Morland, because the story I'm planning is more of a coming of age. Like, up to this point, Grace has been kind of naive about a lot of things, and now she's starting to see things differently. So it's kind of a bit of a coming of age, just like Northanger Abbey is for Catherine. So it'll have those types of things. And the hero is probably going to be, I haven't named him, I haven't really fleshed him out at all yet. He'll be a self-made man. So, thinking more like Bingley is a self-made man, where he's got his wealth did not come from land that's just been passed down for centuries, but it's come from trade. So this will probably, I don't know if this will be a person who's, been left an inheritance by a father like Bingley was, or if he will have had a hand in creating that wealth himself, because we don't really know if Bingley had any part in that in Pride and Prejudice. But those are kind of the hints that'll be in this one, but an original story. And then the other story that I started is called Persuading Miss Mary. And this is the one that will be on Thursdays after Loving Lydia finishes, not this Thursday, but the following Thursday, that will finish. And then starting in June, we'll get into Persuading Miss Mary, which has Lord Westonbury matched with Mary Bennet, who presently doesn't like him at all. So it should be an interesting.
I'm excited about this one.
The way it has started, because it started from Wes's point of view, and he's a bit of a brat, to be quite honest. He's just this scoundrel that he likes to tease, and he likes to have fun, and he likes to poke and prod, and that's just kind of the way he is. And he starts out with prodding at his mom, but his mom has also done something that was kind of fun. He shows up at his house and finds out that he can't get in. His mother has locked him out. And you'll have to wait to find out why. But
I love it.
That's pretty funny. And then, finally he gets in, because the butler's like, well, I'll see if she can see you. And then he's like, as a part, I shared it on Facebook. Can't remember if I only shared it in my Leenie Sweeties one or not, but the butler says, do you want to be announced? And he's like, well, I think I must have to be announced because, I'm just a caller. I don't, I'm not allowed admittance, that sort of thing. And he said, well, what name would you like me to say? The one that you use everywhere? And he's like, no, the one that I have that's just precisely developed to annoy my mother. So, and it's pretty good. I thought the name was pretty good that he uses too. Um,
It
and,
is.
yeah. And then I think that's all my news. I think the next story, the third work in progress that I haven't started that I need to start will probably be Robert Eldridge's story.
Mhm.
If you have read Tom, To Secure His Legacy, I couldn't remember the rest of the title. If you've read Tom's story, then you've met Robert. He was the brother of the heroine Faith in that story. Um, and I think we're going to, I don't know, he might end up with Susan Price.
Okay.
It's kind of the way my mind has been leaning, but I haven't really done a whole lot of work on it yet, so that could change. I'll say hello to Ellen. I saw her pop in while I was yammering on. And that's it for my news, I think. I don't think I have anything else to say. I think that's
Okay.
enough.
Awesome. Well, our topic then is our best reviews. And I know that Leenie for sure has went through, and I'm gonna be honest. Oh, let me turn it back to me. There we go. I'm going to be honest that this was difficult because we had to go back through our reviews, and some of the reviews were not nice that we had to see, and some of them, upset us. And you'll notice one of my reviews said that it's impossible to snow, knee high in 15 minutes. So there's a link down in the show notes to a video that shows like 10 feet or 15 feet of snow falling in 10 minutes because it's possible. I live it. All right. Anyway, the good one, we're going to focus on our good reviews and I don't know if I should screen share this. I think I'm just going to, is it okay if I start? I just kind of took over.
No, go ahead. I was talking
Okay.
for quite a while.
Okay. I have three that I only went so far, quite frankly. Because like I said, the bad ones, the not so nice ones, even the backhanded compliment ones, kind of, I got to avoid that to maintain my good, to not get mired down in self-doubt. So, and I got to remember that as long as I put out a good story, and I do put out good stories, I'm not going to please everybody, but these are three of my favorite reviews. I had one once I had printed off, great big long thing, said lots of nice things. And then I discovered that the person who wrote it, I don't know, she didn't really like much of what I do. And I got upset one day and I just took it down and threw it away. So I don't even have that one anymore. It's in there somewhere. So, and I have another screen over here. So if I'm looking over here, I'm not trying to be rude. I got to look over here so I can read it. So somebody, just about, what is today? The 18th, 7 days ago. So last Saturday, yeah, somebody left a review on Lady Catherine and Peds. And it was a 5-star review. And it said, and I'm going to tell you what the review said, and I erased the person's name, so I don't even know. Okay. But, and I'm going to read you the review, and then I'm going to tell you why I liked it, what I liked about it. It said, great story and keeps you focused enough not to put down until finished. Anne's behavior is shockingly evil, and Lady Catherine's is surprisingly unexpected, to say the least. A very enjoyable read. Caroline's unexpected cost is bound to be as interesting as the other happenings have been so far. And of course, at the end of that book, Caroline suddenly shows up, which was probably a mistake on my part, but that's what I did. So, but here's what I liked about this review. She liked that she said she couldn't put it down. She liked that she said it was, it kept her focused on the story. And it's a novella. It's like, I don't know, 25,000 words or 30,000 words or something. It's short. So it was only probably a 3 or 4 hour read. She also said, she gave hints at what happens, but she doesn't give spoilers because she says Anne's behavior is shockingly evil. And that's all she said. And she said Lady Catherine's is surprisingly unexpected, to say the least. Okay, so, and that's all she said. She didn't say what they did. So I liked that she said it couldn't be put down and that it kept her focused and that she didn't give spoilers. All right. That was the first one. What time is it? 3:30. I got a few minutes. The next one, this one just made my heart sing because of one word. And it was on Darcy's Secret Marriage, and it was last month. And it was unputdownable. And that just made my heart sing because very few people say, obviously, the lady, whoever reviewed Lady Catherine and Peds that I just read said they couldn't put it down until they were finished. But she didn't use that word, unputdownable. That's just something about that word that makes me think, oh my gosh, it was wonderful. This person, here's the rest of the review. My favorite trope, where Darcy and Elizabeth reached an early understanding and the threat came from an outside force. Sweet, romantic, and thrilling story. And they put a rating on it all. Elizabeth and Darcy are introduced pre-canon, but are separated for years. Reunited, a swift wedding ensued. They kept the marriage a secret, but oh my, does that backfire. The villain in this story was a big surprise and kept me on the edge of my seat. Hardly recommend this book. Here's what I like about it. Of course, the unputdownable. She also named the trope, which is good, because if somebody's coming and they're looking at the reviews to help them decide to buy the book, and if they like that trope, then they know that this is a book they might like. She used great adjectives to describe the book. She used a word like surprise. The villain was a big surprise. No spoiler. She didn't give any spoilers. She gave it a rating and she recommended it. She said, I hardly recommend this book. And that's what I liked. Of course, that unputdownable, that just makes my heart. I'm sorry. I just love that. And the next one is another one about Darcy's secret marriage. So obviously I didn't go very far. And this was the day before the last one I read. And the title of it was Couldn't Put This Down, which again, she liked it enough that she wanted to keep reading and not stop. Ellen says that was me. Yes, it was you. I confess it was you. And putdownable when it's a favorite. Yep. So this person said, I received an ARC version of this book. Well, that tells me that you're either in my Burton's Babes, you're on my newsletter list. I didn't want to put it down. I started reading this morning and stayed up late to finish before life stopped me. I really enjoyed the take on the story and surprised with the twisting of the characters. Great read. What I really liked was her title, that she couldn't put it down. She doesn't give spoilers. She was surprised with the twisting of the characters. So she kind of left it a little bit of a mystery. And those are the things I liked about those. So basically, oh, wait, here's another one. So that must have been 4. I forgot about that one. Here's one from Matches Made at Netherfield. And this was back in November that this one was book was reviewed. It's 4 stars. I think all those other ones were 5 stars. Yeah. This one's 4 stars. And it said the title was Unexpected Twist. Now that's going to catch somebody's eye when they look at, if they're looking at reviews. And then it says, yes, pick it up. Yes, enjoy what would normally be unforgivable. And I have to say that in the end, all will work out exactly as you expect. I enjoy the author's liberty with a well-known tale and turning it into something, a story I never considered. Thank you for that, Zoe. So what I liked is I like being thanked, honestly. and I like the acknowledgement that the book is different, because it is. It was different than what you usually see, but all my books are different. But it is different. And so, and I liked how she worded it, yes, pick it up. Yes, enjoy what would normally be unforgivable. So that's my reviews. That's the good ones. There were more good ones. I know there was some deeper in that also made me smile and that I greatly enjoyed, but these are the ones the first ones I came to. So yeah, you'll have that, I guess. But anyhow, that's mine, and I only took 4 minutes.
Wow. Let's see.
So we may be yakking about yours more.
Well, you know me, I can yak when needed. It might help if you put me up on the screen there.
Yeah, you should be in just a second.
Okay, I just want.
There you are.
Yeah, I'd be talking, your mouth might be moving, right?
Ah, no, no,
That
no,
would be
no.
really funny.
It would.
Okay, I don't. A confession: I don't read a lot of my reviews. Reviews are for readers, in my opinion, and for me, they are a danger zone. For me,
Mhm.
it does not matter if they're a good review or a bad review. They can be dangerous for me
Mhm.
because you read something and like it's unputdownable, that sort of thing, and it was really good and I really liked it and all that, and then you're like sit down to write and you're like, oh, but what if I can't do that again?
Right, that is
Um,
true.
so it can mess with my mind, and I have to protect that writing space in my brain. And I wouldn't be able to keep up with all of them anyway because I've got 30 some books out. um, and if you have reviews coming in on all of those, I'd be spending too much time reading reviews. And then there are the reviews. I'm a teacher, and that is not said as, I have a profession as a teacher. I used to have a profession as a teacher. I do homeschool, but I always said when I was employed as a teacher that I was a teacher. I was a teacher not because I taught, but I taught because I was a teacher.
Right.
It's just kind of something that I've always done
Born
all my
with. Yep.
life, just born with. I think having little sisters maybe helped with that a little bit because you're always teaching them things. Um, so when I see a review, and even if it's a good one, if somebody has made a mistake in it, they haven't quite understood what the story was about, or they've quoted research that
Mhm.
wasn't as thorough as the research that I had done, so that I knew that what they were saying was not. The sun's shining in. I'm getting really washed out now. That's okay. Um, that it's not as thorough as what I've done. It's like I want to tell them, here's the source that you need to look at, or no,
Mhm.
if you had seen these um, hints in the story, you might have understood the story differently. I would kind of say, go back and read.
Yeah.
Like you would to a student, please go back and read that again. So it bothers me that I can't do that because I want to help them learn and grow. And it's not to criticize them. It's actually, you were wrong. You need to, improve this skill. So I do try to avoid looking at reviews very often. Usually the first few reviews that come in on a book, because I know that I have ARC readers that are reading and reviewing, and I want to take a look at those things because I know they've specifically spent time doing that for me, and I really do appreciate it. I will look at those, for the first couple of weeks, the first few that come in, but after that, I'm into a new book, and I kind of forget to check reviews after that. So that being said, when I go to buy a book, sometimes I do look at reviews because reviews are for readers, and I actually look for the ones that have spoilers in them. I am one of those people. There are two different types of people in the world, those who read the book from beginning to end, and those who look at the ending and then enjoy the book from the beginning. I'm the one that looks at the ending. I like spoilers. Spoilers do not ruin things for me. Spoilers actually allow me the opportunity to relax and enjoy the movie or the show or the book because I don't have to wonder what's coming next. It gives my brain the permission to not create my own scenarios of what should be happening or to question or to wonder quite the same because my brain is very active. Very
Mhm.
active. So I do need to do things sometimes just to calm it down and let it focus. Like I'm the 50-year-old person in church that is coloring on her phone, because if I'm not doing something with my hands that doesn't take any brain power really, my mind will be in 50 different places and possibly even creating stories based on what the pastor has been talking about. I actually do have notes on my phone from about stories that, oh, that'd be a good story idea, and I put it down. So kind of detracts from the message the pastor's preaching when you do that. So I know I have to have ways to close down parts of my thinking. There was a couple weeks ago, I just worn myself completely out, and I was really, really tired. I mentioned this to Rose and Zoe. They know about this. I had gone out to supper with my husband, and I was just kind of sitting there staring into space. And he says, "Are you sleeping?" And I was like, "No, I'm not sleeping." But I said, "There's nothing going through my brain. Like, no thoughts. There are no stories. There's nothing there. Like, I can just look at that wall and not even think about the wall." And he goes, "Uh-huh." I said, "Is that what it's like for normal people?" Because, I'll often ask him, "What are you thinking about?" And he's like, "Nothing." And I'm like, "How in the world can you think about nothing?" Because my brain just never stops, never stops. It's always going. Um, so yeah, it was kind of a weird feeling. It was pretty funny.
That was.
Yeah. I wish, like Ellen says, she doesn't like spoilers. I wish that if you were going to put a spoiler in a review, you would mark it as a spoiler, like may contain spoilers. Great. Then I can know that I need to read your review, and then people like Ellen will know they can skip your review. And I think that's all that really needs to happen is, if you like to put spoilers in, put a spoiler warning, Um, I do like short ones too. I don't really like super long ones. Yeah, I it's like too many words. And I skim through, and I usually get down to the bottom because usually the bottom is where they give their recommendations. So I'll skim through
Yeah.
and go down
Some
there.
people write a book, though. Some people write a
Yeah.
book.
Yeah. And they've put lots of work into it, and it's well done and everything, but
Quotes and
sometimes
crap.
I don't have
Yeah.
time for it.
Right.
All right. Well, let's get on to my ones that I picked out. I just went with a few that I had remembered seeing some things on that had things in them that I really like to hear in a review, and I think they'll be different. I think they're different than what Zoe did. I mean, I like a lot of the things that she likes too in a review, but we'll see. This one, the first one that I pulled up, and I'm not going to say who these were by. Actually, the first one I have isn't actually a review, but sometimes you don't get it is a review, but it's not an official review. It's not like on a blog. It's not on BookBub or Amazon or some other selling place. It was just a comment that was left in a group on Facebook for this one. And sometimes the best reviews and comments that you get are when you're posting on your blog and somebody says something, or you're posting on a forum and they have something to say that's really heartwarming. And you get to talk with the people and you get to explain your side of the story and things like that. I really like that too, because you can't really do that on Amazon in the reviews. But this one was about the new story that I've started for Sweet Tuesdays on my blog called Apple Blossoms. And this person said, "It's amazing to me with just a few descriptions, your characters already come alive for me." So, why I liked that is because one of the things that I work on quite diligently with every book, I try to improve the connection between reader and character so that you feel like the character is your friend. I've read books, and they're some of my favorite go-to reads that I won't tell anyone what they are because they're mine. It's like my secret. Um, but I'll get done reading that book, and I've read it, 12 times, but I get done read it, and it's like, oh, I want to go to England
Mhm.
and spend some time with this person. We could go out and do stuff, but it's not a real person. It's a fictitious character, but you just have that feeling like you're friends. And I want to feel that when I'm writing, and I'm hoping that that comes across to my readers. So when I hear something like that, that lets me know that I'm accomplishing a goal that I have set out for myself. And a lot of what I like about these reviews, that's what it comes down to. Um, I set goals for myself with every single project. I have things that I'm working on, trying to improve. And if I get a review that kind of hints at that, then I know I've succeeded in what I'm doing. You know, it's not just me who feels like I've succeeded, but somebody else has said, yeah, you are succeeding with that. Okay. This one is for One Winter's Eve, which is on sale right now for $2.99 if you want to buy it. I just figured I'd throw that in there because it was fun.
Yes.
This one says, I don't know that I'm going to read the whole thing. It's the first part that really interested me. It says, even though I am not a Caroline Bingley fan, I am a Leenie Brown fan. So, and there's a whole paragraph that goes with it and tells what was enjoyed in this story, and the fact that it was an enjoyable story because Caroline was almost human, that sort of thing. It's that first line that just was like, that's wonderful because somebody tried something. Because I don't write just Darcy and Elizabeth stories. I write about characters that people don't like at times. And I know, like Henry Crawford, another one that we're going to look at, William Collins, um, who else? Wickham, those sorts of things, you know, those sorts of characters that people don't like. I write about them and try to make them likable. Like I go into the story, I might not even like the character when I start, and I have to convince myself that I'm going to like this character and find out reasons how I can like this character and, you know, project that to a reader. And I like the fact that this reader said, you know, I don't like Caroline Bingley, but I've read Leanie's books before, and I know that she can tell a good story. So I'm willing to give it a try. And then as you go down through it and you get to that part where it says it was an enjoyable story because Caroline was almost human, I know that I have hit my goal because somebody who entered the story only because it was my book, not liking Caroline and probably not really expecting to like Caroline, ends up liking her in the end. So that was why that one was nice. That was one that can be found on Amazon if anyone's looking. And it was a 5-star. I tried to keep all of mine in the 5-star realm just to save myself from seeing some of those, you know,
Yes.
ones that need remedial tutoring or something, you know.
I swear, if I ever come across that one again with the snowstorm, I'm gonna drop that link in the comment.
Oh, just a side note, if you're going to criticize grammar, you should probably not do it with making grammar mistakes. You know,
Yes.
those are, yeah, I get a good chuckle out of the things like that.
Yes.
I know that's not very nice, but it's true. Um, this one is on from BookBub, and it is on Henry's story. So there are only 3 or 4 nice reviews over there. They're all good. They were all good. And it was hard to choose just one. But this reviewer, it's a short one. And again, it's the same sort of idea as the last one. It took me a long time to start this book, as Mansfield Park and Henry Crawford in particular are not my favorites. So not only is it a character that I had to overcome here, but the dislike of a book. So there's 2 prejudices of that, you know, that this person has going into the story. I personally love Mansfield Park, but I don't like Henry Crawford. So I had to work at liking him in this book too. She continues on with, at least I think it's a she, because it looks like from the name. I finally started it because every Leenie Brown book I have read has been good. This was no exception. In fact, the story was even better than some of those I have previously read. I definitely recommend it. So there's that thought again, I've read Leanie's books before. I'm going to trust her on this one. And thankfully, I met the expectation and I didn't break that trust.
Yep.
And she did like the book and she would recommend it. And I wanted to mention in this one in particular, it's even better than some of those I have previously read. This was, I think I read this one at about the time when I was really considering, I had this desire to, go down a different path and not just stay on the Pride and Prejudice path that I had been on for quite a while. I wanted to do other things. I wanted to explore other things. And I had always felt, well, if you look at my reviews, even on my books, the higher star rating numbers, averages on Amazon are going to be on my non-Darcy and Elizabeth books. I've always felt that the non-Darcy and Elizabeth books are where I can unleash myself a little bit more. There are not as many restraints on you as far as expectations go for keeping Darcy and Elizabeth certain ways and treating them certain ways. There's just, you can do more things with other characters, I guess. And then moving into a different book where there's even different expectation. Well, this isn't even in the book. This is past the book. So I'm just keeping everything that was in the book true to the book and then changing everything afterwards. There was even more freedom to do things. So to have that, it was even better than some of those I have previously read. It let me know that, okay, it's not just a feeling that I'm having. Someone else has also noticed this, and yes, I think I'm going to go down that road. So it was kind of like a signpost for me that I was kind of looking for as a reassurance that maybe I could try this. I guess I just needed that little extra helping hand, and this review actually gave me that helping hand. And then this is the last one that I have. This is also a 5-star. And it's titled, You Will Never Look at Mr. Collins the Same Way Again. Which that was exactly what I wanted to do going into the book. So this one was like, okay, I passed the test.
Yes.
And I really like the way that this one began, because it's not necessarily saying, oh, I've read all of Leenie's books before, and I know that she writes a good story or anything like that. It's different in that aspect. It's this is Master of Longbourn, by the way. I fully confess that I first purchased this book as a lark, figuring there could be no way to redeem the character of Mr. Collins, who is the butt of every Jane Austen joke. Oh, how wrong I was, as I completely was drawn into the story rather quickly, and it is extremely well written. You will find yourself falling in love with the completely endearing Mr. Collins. I love the heart of this author, as she has a beautiful way of bringing redemption to characters and scenarios that we would never have expected, but any compassionate and tender-hearted person would hope could be the ending. Compassionate. I read that wrong. But any compassionate and tender-hearted person would hope. Okay. So this is someone that's like, oh, I just bought it on a joke because I didn't think it could really, that anybody could really do this. And then it's like, oh yeah, it actually happened. I can't believe that it happened. And it really, that the top line, you'll never look at Mr. Collins the same way again, was one of my goals going in. And when I started the book, I kind of broke a couple of conventions that they always tell you, don't do this, don't try to make, an unlovable person into the hero, and don't start it, with self-reflection, looking into a mirror. And I did, both those things in the first chapter. And she said that the reason that I had done it is because I knew that from the beginning I had to let readers know this was not the same Mr. Collins. This is a Collins you are going to care about. And I had to work fairly hard on that first chapter to make sure that there was that connection of, oh, I want to find out if he succeeds type feeling. And from what she says, it sounds like, I managed to do that. So when I look at reviews, I kind of look at them for, I guess, to see if I've met my goals.
Yeah.
I'm not necessarily looking at, I know there are authors who will look at reviews and they'll look for areas that they can improve. Um, I, I don't know how to say this properly. It's not that I don't need to improve and that I don't know that I need to improve. I know I need to improve. I'm
Right.
always trying to improve. I don't necessarily need to hear what other people think I need to improve on because I already have this huge list of things that I
Right.
want to do. So I don't necessarily look at reviews for that purpose. And I know that some people do use them that way, and that's a great way to use them. I'm not saying it's not; it is, but I think again, it really depends on the person, because just like learning happens differently for every person, writing and your needs as a writer are different for every single person as well. Um, and I think I really like those reviews too, because they're all on non Darcy and Elizabeth stories, and they all have the same message to them of try this. It's
Mm-hmm.
good. Give it a try. It's different, yes, but it's good. And I do like that, when readers are encouraging other readers to try something new. Um, there's been lots of reviews that I've, thought of over the years where people have said, nice things, but I just couldn't take the time to wade through all of the reviews that are out there. Like Master of
Right.
Longbourn, I think it has 20, 19 or 20 reviews on it. And there may be 2 or 3 that are 4 stars, and the rest are all 5 stars.
Mm-hmm.
So these books that are not your standard, don't just pass them over because they're not a Darcy and Elizabeth story or they're, a
Right.
character that you don't like. And give it a try, because you might be surprised. Of course, you may not like it at all, because I've had people so very unexpected. There were reviewers who really liked that, and then there were reviewers that were like, "Oh, this can't ever, this isn't the way it happens," um, type of thing. They thought that I treated Elizabeth poorly. It's like, no, that was
But
Lydia's
that
viewpoint.
was early. That was one of your early books in the
Um,
first 2 years, maybe.
I don't know if it was the first 2
It
or
was one of the first books where you started moving away from Darcy and Elizabeth.
it was. Well,
And
no, I moved away before that.
I think, I think that as you have gone, I mean, because you've been doing it a while now, I mean, you're coming up, you're like 4 years into publishing, right? So in
Mm.
March, you're going to be like 5 years.
Yeah, March was, I think, 5. I think, yeah.
Okay. So people are used to it now. You know what I'm saying? So I think that new readers who read that book, Wickham and Lydia, would probably review it differently.
Oh, that was a different one. This was part of the Willow Hall series.
Oh, that's right. That
Yeah,
was
so
that
that was
was
later. But
okay.
it was, and I've had a couple books where it's like either people got it and they really liked the character or they really didn't.
Yeah.
And I have a few that are like that, and that was one of them. But I know in the Willow Hall series somewhere, and I had wanted to pull it out. That's why I'm mentioning it now, but I couldn't. I don't remember which book it was on. There are 4 books in that series, and they all have several reviews on them. So I didn't really want to spend, 3 hours
Right.
reading reviews. But there
Yeah.
was one that said something to the effect that when I when they read a story that I've written, they're transported to that time and that
That's
place.
nice. That's a nice one.
And that is another thing that I've really tried to work on. And I know I'm not as descriptive as some people, but it's still
Okay. It's okay because I'm not as chatty as some people.
Yeah, so it still works. But those are mine. So those are not, they aren't like I don't like any of the others. These are the four best or whatever.
Right.
These were just some that I had remembered seeing and I pulled them out. And there are a lot of others that I've kept. And I've gotten emails even from people. I put them in, I call it my Ebenezer file because there's a verse in the Bible about setting up an Ebenezer, which, God has brought us to this point type of thing, and it's a blessing type thing. So I do have those in an Ebenezer, but I haven't really done that with my reviews, and I probably should, but I haven't.
I just remembered that Rose made me one time when it was what, a year ago? Or was it two? When it was, I don't think it was last winter. It might have been the winter before. That I was ready to quit, and Rose made me a file of a bunch of reviews, and I forgot about it, but I have it somewhere. I think it's in my Google Drive. But I guess we could call it that too.
Yeah.
Love reader love.
Yeah.
And I also have way more. Let me move this over to me for a minute.
Yes.
I have a lot of good reviews. Some books are like Leanie's; they have mostly 5s and a couple 4s. Some books have a variety. The last book has a 1. It has some 3s. It has some 4s, and it has some 5s. So it just depends. But those were I just picked because we don't have all day, so I only picked a few. But
right.
Is there anything else that we should say about reviews?
No, I would just encourage the people who like to write them to keep writing them. And, it's really important for other readers to see those reviews and to know what you've thought about it. And it sometimes helps them make a decision. Like, usually, if I'm looking at a review, it's because I don't know if I really want to read this book or not. And then I'll look for those spoilers because, there's something in my mind that makes me think, well, I don't know if I'm going to like this storyline. So seeing the reviews can be helpful for a lot of readers. And there are review sites like, sites, if you want to do a promotion on a site, sometimes they will look to see that you have a certain average. And that you have a certain number of reviews in order for your book to qualify to participate in any of their promotional things where they'll send your information out to their, thousands of readers. So it can be very helpful. Kimberly says she's really bad at posting reviews.
You know what? I don't review.
I don't do reviews, so yeah. I don't condemn anyone who's bad at posting them at all. I've started just recently on BookBub putting a few books up there with star ratings that I've enjoyed, because I don't have to spend $50 in order to post on BookBub. I can keep a list of books there that I've read and liked. I try to remember to do it. I'm not always very good at it. The reason I don't write reviews is I was a grammar and composition teacher for a number of years, a great number of years, and helped out with the science fair papers and, taught social studies. So there's papers there and all that. So I've done a lot of paper marking, and I don't want to have to mark what I read for enjoyment, because then it really crosses over into work or homework type stuff for me rather than being just pleasure. So that's one of the reasons that I haven't reviewed. I am further away from it now, so just giving those star reviews, and I don't have to really give my thoughts on it. There's some little tags that you can get, like it was entertaining, it was witty. I really like doing that because it's very quick and it's, and I won't ever post anything that would be less than a 4-star.
Yeah.
because the people that I'm giving ratings to are fellow writers, and I know that their livelihood could be affected by something that I say. And I would never, ever want to harm another writer's chance of paying their bills. If I don't care for a book, I keep that information to myself.
Right.
And yeah, because I guess out of respect for them. And I know that, sometimes when you get those bad reviews, your sales do drop.
They do.
They do. And then you're like, oh, well, wonder how we're going to make up that deficit.
Yeah.
So that's something, to think about too, I guess. But
I mean, and I will say this, because I know it sounds like we don't want anybody to ever give us a bad review.
no.
And I know that bad reviews can be just as helpful as they are harmful. And a lot of people will read a book because they because of a bad review. They're like, oh, I want to see if it's like looking at an accident scene. I want to know if it's really that bad, or this person didn't like it. And that's the thing too. If you say what you didn't like, then somebody else might come, oh, you didn't like that, but I like that, so I'm going to read this book.
Yeah.
So I mean, but it pulls down your. Nobody likes to see their book go from 4.1 to 3.7. Thank you, whoever gave me the 1 star on the last book. But we just don't look. I really try not to look at. And there's been times I've said to Leenie and Rose, please go look at. I've got a review and I don't think it's good. So can you please go look?
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, my favorite 1-star review was a review that said that they hadn't even read the book, but they were just tired of all this
oh my gosh,
Darcy
yes.
stuff. They were going around doing this on a lot of people's.
Yes.
They left a 1-star. I reported it to Amazon because they said they didn't read the book. Amazon has not removed it. They sent me the guidelines for what a review can contain, even though the guideline says that what was there was wrong, right? So it's just there, whatever. And the funny thing is, it's like, it wasn't even on a Darcy and Elizabeth story. It was Not an Heiress. If you ever want to look for it, it's on Not an Heiress. It's 1 star. I think it's still there. I haven't really looked, but yeah, it's pretty. That's my favorite one because it's like, you didn't even rate the book.
I know, it's
ridiculous.
It is crazy. I got here Kimberly says, let me put it back on me. Kimberly says, the only time I did write a bad review, it was more because it needed editing due to spelling and grammar mistakes. But I did say that I really did enjoy the premise of the story. Yeah. See, she said, so Kimberly, that was good because you said what you didn't like about it, and then you said what you did. Because surely every story has some good quality. Or you wouldn't have read the whole thing. Right? But yeah, I forgot where I was going with this. What did you say last, Leenie?
You expect me to remember?
Oops. Well, I
was talking about my 1-star review. I know that.
Yeah, I don't remember either. It must not have been important.
Yeah. Oh, well.
Sorry, it's getting warm in here, and I'm starting to. So
that's an excellent way to do it, though, when you do have to give a negative comment, because I mean, as a teacher, and you had negative comments to make, on a report card or in a parent-teacher meeting or even on a paper for a student. You couldn't just put down, this is a piece of garbage, you need to, do better. That would be really rude. You want to make sure that you have included the good things that they've done as well, right? You can't just focus on all the negative. And I have read some books that, oh my goodness, they had bad reviews. And I'm like, oh, they can't really be that bad. And I read them, and sometimes they were. And then there was another one that so many mistakes in it, like grammar mistakes, formatting mistakes, historical mistakes.
Oh, I
The
remember something.
story was so entertaining that I think I've read it 5 times.
Right.
Yeah, but I'm not going to review it because I'm an author.
Right.
And that's an author. And it's like if I were, McDonald's writing a review for Burger King,
Right.
there's a little conflict of interest there that I feel personally. And I think each author has to decide that on their own. And there's like no one right answer for it. This is just my answer for it. I feel there's conflict of interest. I feel like I don't want to negatively impact their career or something by accident. I don't want to look like I'm being petty either or something. So there's a
Well,
lot of different reasons there where I wouldn't do it, but I'm in a different position than someone who is just a reader and not a reader and an author. Um, Ellen said, I always review and I feel like I owe my fellow reader followers to be honest, and I'm conscious of being kind and explain what I did not like. Yeah, and I don't mind. I don't, I mean, I don't relish and go looking for,
right.
negative reviews that, point out things I've done wrong because I know I do things wrong, human. Um, but the ones that are done kindly and said in an appropriate fashion rather than don't waste your money on this book. I've never read anything as bad as this before, which
Right.
I have gotten those reviews. Um,
I have too.
they
There,
don't help.
no.
They don't help me as a reader if I'm looking at that. It's like, well, why?
Yeah.
You at least have to explain why. And then there was a couple more. If I didn't like it, Kimberly says, I do try to give constructive criticism, which is excellent. Yes. Um, but if there was if there was nothing I liked, I just don't review. Yeah, it's really hard to, sometimes there just
Yeah.
isn't anything positive to say. Um, Ellen
Well,
says, I never
that's,
comment on grammar or spelling mistakes as English is not my native language. There you go.
there you go.
Yeah, I can
There's,
understand that.
there is the point too that if you're an author, it's against Amazon's terms of service to review a fellow author in the same genre.
Uh,
So and people, I think people ignore that. But like I have reviewed Joanna Penn's, JF Penn's, is that series I read?
Arcane?
Arcane series, okay? Because I read all those books and I did review them, but I will never write a book like that.
Right.
And I know I won't. So, but I'm not going to go and review Tessa Dare or Colette Cameron or you guys
Yeah.
because I may write a regular Regency. I'm not going to
Right.
invite, I'm not going to, there's just authors in Regency and Western romance and even in, sorry, it is getting hot in here.
Yeah.
Even in sports romance because I may write one. So anyway, then too, a lot of the times people will say a grammar, they'll criticize grammar and saying it was full of spelling and stuff, errors. I try to write my books as much as I can UK English. I know that I'm American, I speak US English. I write US English, but I know I miss words that are not UK, and a lot of times people from the US review a book that was written in UK English, and then they think it's full of errors or the other way around. And it's not. It's just, there's U's where we don't need them because that's what they do in the UK. And there's center, instead of being spelled correctly with ER at the end, it's RE. They're just, different over there. And so we just go along with it. We don't criticize.
We do that in Canada too.
They do that in Canada too. Those Canadians, I'm telling you,
Yeah.
people, those
It
Canadians.
comes from French.
Yes. There you go. It's the French.
Yeah.
Now my favorite Jaff, I have a certain author who's my favorite author, and she has two massive, well, she has 3 books that I really, really like. She has another Regency that I'm not so fond of. But my 2 go-to stories are massive, and they're full of misused semicolons, because apparently she trusted Microsoft Word. And, they're full of grammar errors, well, spelling errors, or not even spelling errors. She has some misused words, like what do they call those, where it's spelled like bear and bear?
Homonyms.
Homonyms. And she has a buttload of misplaced semicolons. But she's my favorite.
Yeah.
And so I deal with it. And right. I would never say, that's horrible. Even though she's got a lot of head hopping too. The longer I read, the longer I write, the more I recognize stuff.
Right.
So that's the thing too. Yeah. But anyway, there's a good reason for bad reviews, and I wouldn't want somebody to lie and say they liked it when they didn't.
Right.
I would just, yeah. I confess, and I've never been one to just do stuff for the kudos. Right. But I like it just as much as everybody else. I get my ego stroked and people telling me my books are awesome, but I know they're not everybody's cup of tea. I just wish that readers would think before they speak. Yeah. Put it in kind words, because there's some mean people out there leaving book reviews. So tell me you hate my book, but
do it gently.
Do it gently. Break it to me gently. Isn't there a song like that?
Probably.
All right. Do we have anything else we want to say?
I don't think so. I think we're good.
Okay, then I will remind everybody, if you have not, let me call your attention to some things underneath the video. If you have not already subscribed to my channel, you can do so by clicking the bell icon. It should be, wait, where's my finger? And there's a delay, so I'm gonna twiddle around here. I think it's on the right-hand side of the screen, so I should point this way. I remember that's from when I taught online. You click that bell icon, you can subscribe. It'll subscribe you to my channel, and you get an email every time, or maybe even a little notification on your YouTube page every time I go live or I post a video of some sort. And of course, I've had to start doing my Burton's Babes lives on Friday nights here too, because I don't understand why, but Facebook doesn't recognize my video screen. I'm going to have to ask around on Facebook why it won't find my camera anymore. And it's been 3 weeks. And for reasons that I'm not going to get into here, but Leenie probably already knows, I really would rather do them on Facebook for my Burton's Babes. So then there are links to our websites, to the books and things that we mentioned. In the video below that, there's a link to Longhorn Literary Society, I think, down there. So if you heard something that you'd like to learn more about, you can probably find a link down there. So other than that, we'll miss you, Kimberly, who's not going to be here next week. But next weekend, isn't next weekend Labor Day weekend or Memorial Day weekend? I always get those two confused.
It is.
Okay, so it's Memorial Day weekend, so I don't know. I'll be here because I don't do nothing. But anyway, thank you, everybody, for coming. And we appreciate you taking your time out to listen to us gab. And we really appreciate, too, the people that that comment, that chat, too. I said Ellen wants to know how to do covers. Maybe I'll make you a video, Ellen. It probably wouldn't hurt me to make you a video.
We could maybe sometime talk about how we do our covers. I'm not an expert. I do my covers, but I don't know that anyone could ever follow the way that I do them, because I do it my own way.
But do you use Photoshop, Ellen? I can show you in Canva, but Canva is such a pain in the butt anymore. They changed Canva.
Oh, Canva's wonderful.
I know Leenie loves it.
Yeah.
Well, I don't want to wait too long because it's already 20 after. But we'll see what we can do, Ellen. We'll make that one of our topics in the next couple weeks. But anyway, I'm going to wish you all a good weekend. And there's an all-star race this weekend tonight. All-star race.
Nice.
Oh, you've never done one? Well, then we will tell you how to do it. So it's the all-star. It's a non-points thing. There's actually 2 races. I don't remember what the first one's called. It's at 6, and then the all-star race is at 8. But Matt's not in it, of course.
No.
But whatever. Anyhow, you guys have fun, and we will see you next time. Bye, everybody.
Thanks.